According to experts, the Cubs are still near the top of the list for Roki Sasaki. Could they pull off the Japanese phenom and throw him right into the starting rotation? And the Cubs signed a middle reliever, a guy that had a very high ERA, but performed really well towards the end of the season a year ago in Minnesota. We'll talk about Caleb Thielbar and what he brings to the table, and also Sasaki right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out with us, and also Happy New Year, everyone. Back behind the mic, still on my vacation, but I mean, I've missed you guys. I hope you missed me too. Let's get the show started. All right. Happy New Year. Coming to you guys on vacation, but always appreciate you being here on the channel, and hope you had a great New Year. Thank you so much. And, happy Hanukkah. I know we finished that up yesterday. All right, let's talk about the Cubs. And I want to start with Roki Sasaki. Now, this is the Japanese phenom that you can sign for $7.5 million. He can't take more than that because of the collective bargaining agreement. But if he was to just go out and sign, he'd be worth maybe Yamamoto money, maybe millions and millions, hundreds of millions. So this is a huge discount, but he is posted and the Cubs are in the mix. And according to Jim Bowden, the Cubs are still in this thing, right? Dodgers and Padres are both thought of as the favorites, but the Cubs are, in third. He's making visits to some of the places that he would potentially play. Yankees and Mets and Rangers, Bowden said, and possibly the Giants, but not the White Sox. And why would you want to go to the White Sox? They're terrible, and he wouldn't want to go. You wouldn't come all the way over from Japan to just go play for the worst team in baseball. You would want to go somewhere and win right away. And the good news for the Cubs is I feel like they've got some momentum right now. The signing of Kyle Tucker gives them, hey, look, we're trying to do something. They did move Bellinger to the Yankees, but you got the two players from Japan that are going to help you, and including Shota Imanaga and Seiya Suzuki. So I'm just thinking the same formula that you used with Shota, who honestly fell in love with the city. And you remember, he took a deal that wasn't the best deal that he could possibly have because he wanted to play for the Cubs. I know Yu Darvish is with the Padres. He's a former Cub, and he's always got great things to say about the Cubs and Wrigley. I've heard that from multiple people, that he really enjoyed his time with the Cubs, and also like the fact that the games, some of them are during the day. You can take your family out to dinner, and and kind of that change of scenery to play so many day games like they do at Wrigley. And then Seiya Suzuki, whether he's in right field or DHing, Suzuki's been a great Cub. He's had a lot of success when he's been healthy in the major leagues. He can flat out hit, and you just don't know what their relationship is or means to this young, basically hard thrower that I'm guessing's a can't miss. But would he want to go play with Yamamoto and Ohtani? Ohtani's going to be healthy this year, and he'll be back in the Dodgers rotation, right? So, I mean, could you imagine that? Like 3 guys from Japan in the Dodgers rotation. It's very, very doable if, he was to sign with the Dodgers. Now, the Cubs made a move adding to the bullpen, and it's the same thing we're seeing is that they're trying to find diamonds in the rough. And Caleb Thielbar, former Minnesota Twin and a guy from up there in Minnesota, signed a 1-year deal with the Cubs on, it looks like they announced it December 31st. Jordan Bastion, who does a great job, threw that out there. Left-handed pitcher, 1 year, $275 million. That in baseball terms is not a big contract. It's not big money. Throws a 4-seam fastball, most of the time, 43% of the time. The sweeper, 31%, and then curveball, 25%. So he mixes it up pretty good. you watch his highlights, and he's pitched in some high leverage situations. Biggest issue to me is you look at his stats and kind of where he was last year, and I just wonder, is what Thielbar are we going to see? He's 37 years old. He's taken less money than he got paid last year to come to the Cubs. He showed in the second half of the season that he could pitch a little bit. And maybe it was a mechanical issue, who knows, but had a 3.98 ERA and 35 strikeouts in his final 31 innings. The problem is that he was in June with a 8.04 ERA. So that's something that you're going to have to see if he's ready to go or if he's at the end of the road. And I mean, I've seen relief pitchers and guys that can pitch into their 40s and get outs. It's probably not going to be with power pitching, and his fastball averaged 93 miles an hour last year, but that was also up from him throwing 90, just under 91 miles an hour in 2013, right? So, so maybe that's part of it as well. But this is a guy who was originally a Brewer and then, got to his hometown team with the Twins. And in a Twins uniform, he was 23-12, had a 3.38 ERA and 347 strikeouts, 320 innings. I like the fact that the Cubs are targeting a lot of these guys from teams that have had success. And I think that success is a culture. When you go get players with Cleveland and you bring them in, you go get players with the Twins. These teams have been to the playoffs somewhere that we haven't been in a while. And that we want to get back to. So hopefully, and also veterans, guys that are veterans kind of understand that, hey, man, this may be the last ride. They're just trying to find pitchers that can come in big situations and get outs. Now, there's some young guys that are in the system that want opportunities as well. And if you were a relief pitcher for the Cubs right now, you would have to feel like if you went in and really put together a compelling, compelling stats that they would have to look at you, whether you're on the prospect list or you're not on the prospect list. So, just something to keep in touch with as we move forward. Now, the other thing to me is if the Cubs could possibly if they could possibly make it happen, I think you take Roki Sasaki to Wrigley Field, you walk him around. I know it's cold, but still. Then take him over to Murphy's, buy him a couple of beers, some sake, whatever he wants to drink. Take him around town, maybe go by the Cubby Bear. Take him for some deep dish pizza, whatever it's going to take to make him feel like he's at home with the Cubs in Chicago. But the city's awesome. And LA can't give you that. I know it's warm there. San Diego's too expensive. I'm just telling you right now, Roki Sasaki just needs to ask Shota Imanaga how great it is. And the best fans in the world, too. Cubs fans are the best. All right. I've been one my whole life. Thank you guys for watching the show. Like and subscribe. Maybe you tell me what you think the most compelling case for Sasaki would be to join the Cubs. I think first off, they did have a spot. I mean, there's a spot in the rotation for him. Secondly, he wouldn't be overshadowed by, the other players on your team. You go to LA and there's like 5 other guys that are going to be bigger than you. You come to the Cubs. I mean, you're potentially going to be the biggest young player in the city. And then, the Padres, nobody even knows they exist. And they're like kind of, to me, they feel like they're kind of a 4A team, like they're in the big leagues, but they could be relegated and no one would even notice. All right. Thanks for hanging out today. Happy New Year and go Cubs. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.